Good afternoon. Today is May 7th. It is 1:04. This is a remote meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. This meeting is being audio recorded, and those in attendance right now are Diane Cullen,
John Zucco,
Melissa Scartesi,
Joan Frizzetti,
Bill Boyle.
Dory Jameson.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all of us, right?
pretty sure that's all.
And then just to add the little top part of the agenda that we had to add, just meeting will be conducted telephonically. Audio recording of the meeting will be available as soon as possible after the meeting by logging on to WHCA's TV's YouTube site. YouTube.com/user/WHCA, the number 9 TV. And there's also a different link because this is being broadcast live right now. They do have a separate link as well, but for all the recordings, it'll be on the YouTube site.
Okay.
So
All right,
we'll
so-
jump.
The first thing on the agenda will be Bill's department head update, focusing specifically on facilities update and a lodge events update. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Bill.
So facilities wise, the floors are done. They are beautiful. It looks like you could ice skate on them. In the kitchen, the stove is hooked up. The electric and the gas has been connected. As far as I know, the leak has also been addressed. So obviously we haven't been in the office as much, but it doesn't look like we've had any, pooling or anything, any water additionally.
that's a ceiling leak, Bill?
Yeah, so the area that they cleaned up, back in the fall, we still had a little bit of a trickle. There's just so many different spots that the water could have been coming in. So they had addressed some different areas that they had already been over, and I think we're able to patch up whatever was still coming through.
Right. I think Chris had said they had to just keep following the leak, and the only way to really, he has to attack it piecemeal like that, because the only way to really finish it is to just rip the entire roof off, and we are in no position to do that right now.
Yeah, that is correct. So yeah, and honestly, even when they came back to readdress it, it was a light drip. Prior to, we had probably 7 or 8 buckets going in the kitchen trying to catch everything. So it's minuscule even compared to what it was. But I think since them following the leak, I think they've been able to find out again where it was coming in and patch it, which is good. Well, wait a minute. I know obviously kind of facilities wise, trees and stumps part of that, but we'll get to that with the new business. Lodge event wise, obviously everything through May 18th is a no-go. So we're looking at postponement, rescheduling, refunding. Dory's been a great help in helping to set up those refunds, because it's quite a process, going through the warrant process and accounting and all that. So we're in the process for events that weren't able to reschedule, in the process of doing refunds.
Do we have a list? Do we have a list of what was postponed and what was canceled? Do we have a count?
Let's see.
Yeah, actually, yeah, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt, Bill. I was just going to say that.
Dory, I'm sure
Okay.
that you have this. I'm sure you can handle this question.
Yeah. Okay, so far we have 8 refunds. And so far everybody else has actually rescheduled. A lot of people have just rescheduled to 2021. 2021 is really filling up. And some people have rescheduled. Pardon me?
Excuse me.
Yeah, better. So today is just 8 cancellations. Everything else has been rescheduled to mostly 2021. So now I'm actually telling people the dates in 2021 that they want are not available. So they're booking, quickly. So 8 refunds, I guess, in the scope of things, it really isn't that bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
and
one
I think
board.
Only
May
one of
I-
those so far, I believe, was a wedding.
May I ask
Yeah,
8 out of how many and what type of events that have been canceled?
Again,
Yeah,
7
we've
out
had
of the 8
oh,
are non-weddings.
Okay, 7 out of 8 or
Yeah.
not. Okay.
Oh,
And-
good, that's
Correct.
good.
And 8
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of how many events?
Oh, geez.
Of all the schedules, yeah, probably, what'd you say, Bill? I'd say 15 to 20 rescheduling, because people are nervous, but they love the venue and they're booking it. You know what they're doing? They're booking the same weekend, but in 2021.
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I know
That's
through
happening all
April
over
it
the
was,
industry.
sorry?
that was a,
That's happening all over the industry. They're rescheduling,
Yeah.
trying to get the dates, same date for the next year.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, and
through
that's-
April, it was, I think, 14 events. I don't have the count for May yet, but
Mhm.
again, that's gonna
Yeah.
change anyway, especially next week when we find out what the heck's
Have
going on.
Yeah.
any June events canceled or rescheduled? How's June looking? Because I know with us, June has moved out. June's moved out completely.
Yeah,
For
we've
any
had-
wedding.
yeah, we had the first 2 in May have rescheduled. June
Yeah.
is rescheduling.
Yeah.
April, actually, the Sportsman's Dinner, they rescheduled to 2021.
Yeah.
And there had to be some cancellations in April, like a bridal shower. And but of those 8 cancellations, it's really because of April, because there was just no
Mhm.
time to do anything. It was just, you couldn't do anything. But now that
Mhm.
people are realizing the situation, they want the venue. They're just, keeping it, just, like I said, just booking it in 20. Yeah. So June is moving to 2021. So, I mean, that's
Right.
good. We're seeing everybody reschedule as opposed to cancel.
That's
Hey,
fabulous.
Dory,
Yeah.
I have a question. Are we being proactive in calling these people? Like, are we touching base with them? Like, especially the June people that have you heard from everybody that's supposed to have a wedding
Yeah.
or an event? Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're in touch with everybody all the time. It's
Okay.
unbelievable how busy
Okay,
it is
cool.
because everybody has the same questions and concerns. So
Yeah.
we are being
Yep.
proactive. And scheduling, we're putting them on the calendar, even though they're not sure. But if it's tentative, we're putting them on, saying,
Yep.
if somebody else wants it, we'll let you know. We'll work with you. So we're really, it's kind of, and everybody understands the situation. Everybody's really good about it. So it's worked out really well.
Good.
Yeah, there's only been one, I believe, that was quite upset with us, but that's got some history anyway. So, out of all of them, really, there's only been, one
Mhm.
pretty upset with us. But again, it's bound to happen. Everybody else has been pretty understanding.
May I
again,
ask what were they particularly upset about?
that we had to cancel their wedding, and it was at the beginning of April, so it was right as everything
April
was being
4th.
handed down. There was nothing we could do.
Do they
Nothing
live
doing it.
under a rock?
Yeah, they live. Can I
I
tell
don't
you
want to
this? Can I tell you
speculate, but
this, Diane?
perhaps not.
They live in Hanson.
Okay.
Oh,
so-
brother.
Yeah, take that.
So, yeah, we won't elaborate any more on that, but
Can I interrupt? This is Joan. I get an alert about the activity that was supposed to be going on for tomorrow, Friday, for the Frank Sinatra thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine anybody that's on there has gotten alerts that it's on there. Nothing says anything about it being canceled. I know there's 28 of them going, I think it was, that was signed up to go.
Yeah, that's Juvie's gig. That's Juvie's event. So it has nothing to do with the camp of the Red Commission. That's
Yeah.
Juvie's
I
gig.
understand, but it's listed under, it comes through Camp Kawani listing. I know it's a juvie thing, but something didn't know how to put out notice that it was being canceled because of everything else. And where Juvie's not here now, I don't know if there's any way for you guys to contact her and to work with her on that, because since it is a Camp Kawani event, and that's how it's coming up under Camp Kawani event. And I know it's by her, but
Yeah, well, Frank
I
Sinatra's
gotta-
in the hospital right now, so he's not going to be there. He's getting a stent put in. Yeah.
I'll go on the website because I know we had, upcoming events and everything.
right.
I'll take out whatever's on there and, just put a quick little blurb that obviously we're following governor's orders And,
Okay, that will take care of it anyway,
yeah, I
so
mean,
at
that's
least
all we're
people
gonna be able
will
to do
know
for
that.
Lauren. You know, we don't have anything posted via Facebook on it, so if there is anything on Facebook, that would be through Juvie's organization, so she would have control of that.
Mhm.
We would.
You know, but just so that people know, because I know it has all the information, but, and also going back to the, stove part, because that was the first part of this part here. What have we done about the ovens? Have we replaced that gas unit in the ovens that needed to be replaced?
No, the only work that has been done has been to the new stove to get the electric and gas hooked up. The old ones are still in limbo. I have to talk to Chris, but he was looking for parts and stuff for that, so I don't know. I know that it hasn't been fixed, but I don't know where it is in the plan.
Right. The old stove will be fixed, but again, because of the situation, you have to have, they have to get the parts and then they have to get the service people in. And I don't know if those service people are even with us yet. Plus, we don't know if we're going to be paying up front. Did all the grants get submitted yet? Because did he give you all the receipts and everything he needed?
He has one outstanding for the library doors. So I'm waiting for him to send that, and then I'll have everything together. I can package it, email it to John, and then we can get it to the State House. So I'm going to reach out to him again today because it was the last one that he had to send me. He said he was working on it. I thought I was going to have it last week, and I don't. So I'll reach out to him again.
All right. Always let me know because I'll text him as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was doing the math on it where I think just under $3,000 away or so from, hitting the $25,000 threshold.
Okay.
We're going to get there. It's just a matter of, once I have that quote, then I can put everything together, I'll type up like a, cover letter or whatever's needed. I'll put it together.
We also have anything that's left over after the library doors, is that $3,000 left over, including the fire panel?
Yeah, that's already included in the scope. That's going to be $1,700. What I do have to check, I know Brian Smith asked about something to do with strobes on the system.
Right.
When I was looking at the scope or what was included, I didn't necessarily see that on the quote, but I will check on that.
Okay. So when we check on the last quote from Chris, we need to prioritize where to use the rest of that money, and also to secure some kind of a maintenance contract on those stoves, the new stoves and the old stoves in the kitchen.
Well, I believe the new one comes with a 2-year warranty. The other ones,
the other ones are going to need an initial, almost like a used car checkup.
Yeah.
They're going to need an initial huge once over, a big cleaning, fix all the knobs and buttons, etc. And then I would like to have somebody in once a year to, look at it, maintain it.
Sure.
So,
Bill, can I get back to you? You said the fire panel system was done?
it's not done. It's included in the grant money that we need to propose to the state.
And the strobes and horn replacements were supposed to be put in, that was part of the fire panel system. It was supposed to be fire panel system to include strobes and horn replacements.
Yeah,
So,
I have to, that's what I have to double check on.
Okay, but that's what it was supposed to have included to begin with, okay? And then the ovens will be cleaned and the gas unit part will be fixed once we get everything together, correct?
That was kind of I didn't hear what the actual question was. Sorry.
On the ovens that were next to it, that the gas unit on the bottom one needed to be replaced.
Yeah, I mean that's
once we get the parts in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. That may or may not play into the grant piece, but I know that it's certainly not going to be, or it shouldn't be as expensive, obviously, as a new stove. So even if we have to wait on that and then have that separate from the grant, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Bill,
Timeline wise, I've got the one quote that I need from Chris. I can get it together and get it to John. The only thing that makes me nervous was that after talking to Deb Petty, our town planner, she said that there's a fair amount of grant money that's being repurposed for COVID-19 relief. I have not been told that our grant money has been taken off the table, so I think we're in the clear, especially where it's a smaller amount. But if I hear anything otherwise, I'll let you know. But as far as I know, we're still good to go as long as we get everything in and get the work completed. So.
all right, well, we got to get that in, so let's light a fire under Chris's
Yeah. And if
proverbial
you guys
butt.
want to just chat for a minute, I'm getting a call from town hall, so I just want to confirm that this isn't anything crazy. So just continue on for a second. I'm just going to take this call real quick.
Okay. So I've been up to the camp and I've been in and out of some of the cabins, and not all of the metal is out of the chalet cabins yet. A good amount of it is, but I don't think that he could fit all of it into his trucks. Does anybody know if that lower cabin that was sort of down behind the wedding cottage, has that one been emptied?
So last time I saw Chris, he was going out to empty that, and then, like he said exactly right, fit what he could in the other one, in the chalet. So as far as I know, he was on his way to do that, and that was, that's when that was in March. So I'm pretty sure that's empty.
Okay, so that one would be emptied. Okay, then there's still a little left in the chalet that we want to get rid of. I don't know if metal places are even open right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's got to be part of the holdup.
Did we get any money for that first load of metal that went out?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Have to. I'll talk to Chris about that.
Right.
I mean, metal is really down right now, as far as I know, but I'm not sure if we got any money for it. If we did, I'm sure Chris said he was going to use it to, offset any other costs. And did Bill mention the big giant mixer?
Did he mention it to Chris? Is that your question?
Did he mention? Yeah, I think Chris said it was taken out already.
Geez, I was there yesterday. I thought I saw it, but
okay.
I could be wrong.
Right. If he has, he had an electrician. He was going to get an electrician in to cap it off, and possibly get someone to purchase it. He knows a restaurant person that might be able to rehab it and sell it.
Oh, that would be great, because you got to think something like that is worth something to somebody.
Right, but it's also going to cost you to refurbish.
Yeah.
So, we just have to figure it all out.
Yeah, if somebody has a use for it, that's fantastic.
Okay, Bill, are you back?
Hi.
Hi, Juvie.
Hi, whoever that is. Hi,
Juvie
guys.
just came on.
Oh, hi, Juvie.
Hey.
Well, they do it. But yeah.
Hey, Juvie.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's in the hospital right now getting a stent, so good thing we canceled.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who's in?
He's at 90%
the
block.
hospital? Who's in the hospital?
The Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Not good timing.
Yeah.
They found a blockage, so they're putting the stent in today.
I'm sure that there's
The worst time for like an ER visit right now. Oh my God.
Exactly. Crazy.
Yeah.
We're on our go-to meeting call right now. I will give her a call after the fact and let her know. Oh, my pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bill, are you back?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, it was Greer. I didn't want to not take her call. So all is
No,
good.
absolutely. Okay,
The-
so Juvie's here
I
too.
was gonna
So
say-
we've got the facilities update. So things to do are to get in touch with Chris regarding leftover scrap metal, the mixer in the kitchen.
Yeah. Wait, what's the
And-
leftover scrap metal?
There's still some scrap metal in the chalet cabin. I was in there the other day. So it must not have fit when he went to take the first load.
Okay.
Hey, just so you know, those mixes go for about 20 grand.
Right,
Not the
Different-
old ones.
Yeah, new ones are expensive. Yeah.
right.
No, Chris looked up the old ones. The most
Yeah.
we could possibly get would be, he's seen them for like 2 to 3 grand, but he said, they don't actually, nobody really buys them.
Uh-huh.
The plan was, he said they were gonna, take it out, clean it, fix it up. Well, they don't really need to fix it, but clean it up and just,
Yeah.
put it out there and see if, he said if they can get some money for it, then he would just, kind of turn it back into the camp,
Yeah.
utilize it for a project or something. So we'll
Good.
see. I mean, we'd be lucky, I think, to get, $800, $1,000 for it, but even still, it'd be money that we didn't have. So
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how much work is needed to fix it too. The
Yeah,
hours and all that.
it works. I mean, the issue is, it was hardwired into the thing. So anybody that's going to use it, would either have to
Yeah.
modify it or hardwire it in. But the thing moves, that's for sure. It doesn't have any safety things on it either. So if you ever got caught in that thing, you're going to be calling
Right. But you know what? Let's at least put it out there. If they do that and somebody buys it for a couple of $100, so what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Mhm.
it's doing us
Better
no
than
favor
nothing.
around, so.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah.
So we've done facilities, we've done lodge events and update. Let's move on to the trees and stumps. And
Yes.
before we go there, I want to say that I did speak to Chris about that as well, because I know that John Stanbrook told you to sort of get an estimate, or told the tree warden to get an estimate of what it would take to grind the stumps, at the very least, the ones outside of the main lodge.
We need to get
So
the one cove too.
I'm sorry.
The cove needs to be done first.
Okay,
And
so
then
I,
Well,
okay, so
one at a
let
time,
me finish.
please. Yeah.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
So I did reach out to Chris too and see if he could get somebody that he knows or rent one himself and possibly do the tree stumps for us. I don't know where that is right now. I do have to talk to him about that. Yes, I agree that the Cove is first, but I'm uncertain at this point if the Cove is even going to open this year.
Right.
So the Cove may not be first. And if I could get some done at the lodge and we have a fall wedding, I would rather do that and leave the Cove and
Mhm.
do the Cove in the spring
And-
of next year when we are more certain of its functioning. So that being said, I know there are people in the town that are very, very upset with the trees. I don't know if you're getting any backlash from that.
Yeah.
I know that
Yes.
we have, I know that we have certain selectmen that are unhappy with the way this proceeded. And it is a stark contrast right now with what happened, the way the camp looks right now. So we really do have to be thinking, it has to be a main priority of quote unquote landscaping management at the camp. Because we can't just go in and cut trees down and not have a plan to make this look better. Because right now it looks terrible. We do need to have caretakers in there raking and, getting rid of piles, doing the best we can to make it look somewhat manicured.
Yeah.
If I was having a wedding there and driving up and those trees are all gone, you know, with all the branches strewn about, it's not attractive. The other thing is, my concern is the stumps along the drive, just because of the one-way narrow road that's there. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that somebody's just going to pull over and damage their car on a stump, and I don't want that to be on us. So
Yeah.
we also might need to be thinking about designated pullover areas, whereas if we can't afford to take all the stumps out, then we should maybe take a couple out and have designated pullovers.
Well, there already are the designated pullover areas that are already there. They're still usable. There were no stumps in the pull-off area, so we're good at
I
least
know,
for the
but they're
moment.
not marked. They're not marked either. I think we need to consider marking them.
Well, they're marked. It's just they're not like fluorescent orange, and that's the other thing too. Is that if we go down and we spray paint all the stumps orange, then it's going to look even worse.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
But you
So I
can
mean,
spread the
it's
designated areas, put something around the designated areas, pullover areas in a fluorescent color so that they can be seen at night.
well, I mean, it's already pretty. I mean, anytime you drive down, if there's a car coming, I mean, you can see the pull-off areas, and again, there's no stumps that are impeding those spots where people put. I mean, that's why those pull-off areas are there, because they're clear. I mean, some of them are a little muddy and gross, but to go back to some of the, you know, the trees and stumps out in front. So this is something right now that's in the hands and being handled by our highway director, Matt Cahill. And so he is looking at, you know, what the equipment rental is going to cost. He's looking at a plan of attack, you know, to see how we're going to go about doing this in stages. Because again, like you said, we're not going to probably be able to do everything in one swoop. I think in front of the lodge is probably the most important area. So the talk is going to be, okay, how do we get those stumps ground down? Obviously, you know, I think as a temporary fix, we get some of the natural mulch or whatever to put in there and get some plantings. Because we won't be able to hydro seed it and everything until the fall. But we'll at least, you know, for next season, hopefully have a nice lush green area out in front of the camp. Part of what I'm also talking to him about are, you know, trees natural to the area that we can plant that aren't going to get as tall as the pines and, you know, cause an issue with, you know, the lodge or things like that. If we can get some nice kind of ornamental trees that aren't going to grow too tall, but, you know, look pretty, you know, we'll look at putting a few of those maybe around the perimeter out front. But certainly I want to look at. Go ahead.
On that bid, Phil Clemens had mentioned once before about putting the natural to the habitat, natural to the town area trees in there. So he would be the one, conservation would be the one to talk to on that part of it. But something else that you hit on before, but I can't remember what it was.
I mean, if we have landscapers and even, you know, highway, they're going to know, certainly more so than me too, you know, what trees are natural, what's going to do well in sun, you know, what's going to work well for the area, what's going to look pretty. So, yeah, I mean, we are going to look at, you know, transitioning the front to, you know, have a nice lush green landscape. You know, at some point, you know, when I walked it with Brian Smith and our tree warden, you know, we talked about the possibility too of putting a gazebo out in the front there. And so if we had, you know, a gazebo, a nice green lawn, some pretty flowers, a couple ornamental trees, I mean, we could make that a secondary spot. If people don't want to get married out on the porch, we could make a nice, beautiful spot with, you know, the lodge as the backdrop, you know, for an alternative, you know, ceremony space.
I guess my you know, our goal would be to make it at least pretty for the fall events. I mean, what can we accomplish before these events come in for the fall?
Yeah, well, definitely. Once we're able to get staff, or even if it's not necessarily the caretakers, but if it's highway, because they're still allowed to work. Again, cleaning up all the pine needles and everything, because we at least want to start to prep the soil. But I know in some camps and natural areas, they have that nice, natural mulch that you can put down that, is uniform. It's relatively clean. So if we have that and then we're able to do some shrubbery and some flowers and everything, I think we can at least make the front, look pretty wholesome enough that, again, once the stumps are gone and we're at least able to, put some flowers and stuff, I think it'll at least make the area look better.
Okay. I know that the TA and the Cahill are both new to the town, but have the egg contacted the water department to see if they have a stump grinder?
The water department does not have a stump grinder. They have like a bobcat or a backhoe or whatever.
Okay, I was told that, well, it was mentioned way back a year ago, that when we were talking about doing the trees, that the water department had a stump grinder, but evidently that information was faulty. So that's all.
No,
that was just my question, because I know the other two are new. So
yeah, no, it wasn't that they had a stump grinder. It's that they have a backhoe that we can use to rip the roots out down at the cove. It wasn't to grind stumps. It was just they have a nice bullish machine that we can rip stuff out of the ground with.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the information.
Oh, no worries. So that's, again, we're looking at that. Again, I'm waiting to hear from Matt because he's running point on this because he knows who to contact, and as having the engineering background, he knows the steps that need to get done. So he's pricing it out. He's seeing what staff is available, what equipment, and once he kind of has a couple ideas for a plan of attack, we'll figure out what the best option is. Again, that being said, well, the next one's going to be, do we have any more and just to address again on the trees, there were a couple trees on the south end that were marked that didn't get taken down. And again, it's just, we marked too many trees than we had money for. So, at the end of the day, it's not an oversight issue. It's a money issue. We have a bunch of trees that need to come down and we only had so much money to do it. So, again, it was, the riskiest trees, came down, those ones on the south end. And actually, nature took care of one of them. So,
that's good.
we may see that in some other spots, but, again, with the money we had and the risk factors, we had to take out the anything else on trees and stumps?
Nope, not on my part.
Okay. Cranberry Cove, obviously that is a big question mark right now. I heard back from Greer that at least until the 18th, we're not going to know one way or another what our season does or doesn't hold. Again, I'm not going to say I'm optimistic because honestly, I don't know what is going to happen. And even if we're allowed to open, how you maintain social distancing protocols and all that, when the whole point of that is to have people crowded on the beach. That being said, I have heard back. So in terms of what we got for applications, and the caveat being that what I'm going to tell you what we got for applications, you're going to say, oh crap, and don't worry, because since then I've been reaching out to our lifeguards. We got 1 application for beach director. We got 8 applications for gate attendants. We got 0 applications for lifeguards. That being said, I've reached out to all of our lifeguards.
And
I have heard back from, let's see, 1, 2. So out of, I think, 9 or 10 lifeguards, currently we have 7 that are interested in coming back if we have a season. So I am working with them to have them get me, email me over their stuff so I can get it turned into Selectman's office. But yeah, I mean, if we do have a season, we should be able to certainly staff it with lifeguards. My next round, I'm going to reach out to who our gatekeepers were last year to see if any of them are coming back. But I obviously wanted to make sure that we had the lifeguard piece. So it looks like at least if we are able to, we should have the lifeguard support. Um, but again, I have no idea.
Well,
and some of the
what
other
if a-
conversation that I got from Jeannie, especially regarding COVID passes and things like that, if we were to have a season, do we just make everything all online? No, no cash handling. But I know a great source of our revenue, there were something over, 2,000 daily passes that were sold last year. So that's a big source. If we go to shut that down, that's, and the other issue, when people pay with their credit cards, they get hit with a bigger fee because of the way that our credit card processing works right now through Unibank. And until we're able to get with another merchant and, rework our credit card options, that could pose an issue for this season. Because if a daily pass is $5 and somebody swipes their card, they're getting hit, I think, another like $1 or $2. So $5 pass ends up costing you like $7, which isn't the end of the world, but we've had complaints about it in the past. So that's something that we may have to navigate. But yeah, I will tell you, I was really nervous when I got that info back from Greer that we didn't have any lifeguards apply, but it looks like we got at least 7 that want to come back if we're able to have a season.
What's the status on the beach director? We only got one.
We only got one submitted,
is
but
it
we also
someone
have
that,
out of our list of. Go
is
ahead.
that one that was submitted, somebody that has worked at the camp before?
I cannot confirm because I didn't see the person, but I don't believe so. I think it was somebody that Emma had recommended. And so I believe it was one of the people that she had spoke about at the end of the last season that would potentially be a good fit. I believe it was that individual. I know that I have talked to Josh Baker, who was one of the head lifeguards last season, and he will not be returning. He, I believe, received another opportunity. So, but even out of the returning lifeguards that we have, there's probably maybe 1 or 2 in there that could potentially fill those shoes as well if, we found out that this other person wasn't a good fit. And we also have one of our WSIs from last year who is a maybe right now as to whether or not he can come back. But if so, he also has an EMT certification. He's a strong candidate for that in the event. But we've got a couple of different people that we could probably slide into that role if need be. So I think the biggest hangups down there, if we're able to have a season, is going to be how we maintain the social distancing protocols, and are we going to limit the amount of season passes that can come in each day, the amount of it's.
Well, I think we have to just not stress out about that right now, only because there's going to be one directive from the governor regarding public beaches and, of any size. I'm sure there'll be different requirements for each, and it's going to take some training, I'm sure. And, signs are going to need to be posted. We're going to have to make them and post them. And, I don't think we can do anything until we know what's going to happen. So I don't want to stress out about it. But I guess be somewhat prepared. So at least if we have the 7 lifeguards, and what did you say, Josh isn't coming back?
Yeah, Josh, unless things have changed because of this situation, he is not returning.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him anyway. So he was, he's in college. He can get a high paying job. He's almost out of school. I think he graduated, didn't he?
I'm not sure. It was either he was graduating this year or next year.
Yeah. So, I mean, we just sort of have to figure everything out for the future of this. We have to sort of build a relationship with the people that we have as far as lifeguard goes. We always need to be training for the next year. And we need to have a protocol on pay with some kind of structure that we can say to these kids, okay, well, you're on year one, and next year, if you come back, this is what you can expect if you have, a good review, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
I think those are all things we need to think about while we have the opportunity now. So maybe you could put something together like that.
Yeah. Well, my question is, are we allowed to tell them what to expect for pay when they come back? Because again, depending on budget, I would imagine for those coming back, we're at least obviously going to pay them what we were paying them last year. But especially looking for, if we end up in,
well,
a
I think,
budgetary crunch.
okay, but the thing is I think we can go in and say, hopefully, with if no budget constraints occur, you can expect this. However, we do need to keep in mind that nobody applied. Okay. And if we're going to get people consistently for this position and not have to be operating on the fly last minute each season, then we are going to have to give people some sort of foundation, something that they can depend on. So it is something I want us to have, like hand them a packet that says, here are your responsibilities. Here's what you can expect. Here is the protocol and process. Should you need, help with anything? Should you need to grieve something? Should you, all of it. I think we need to put something together like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I have Emma's 2019 staff manual. So I mean, we've got an outline for that, and we can certainly.
That's a good starting point.
Yeah, we can utilize that, expand where we need to.
I just had a bug crawl up my nose and it's bugging me.
So what do you want, gross?
It looked
You
like
outside?
it probably looked like I was picking my nose or something. I'm like, get this bug out of here. Okay. But no, I just want us to, it's always an area of weakness is getting enough applications for the Cove. And I think part of that is because A, lifeguards are in short supply all the way around, but B, because we are not consistent. So we need to be consistent.
Right. Well, and part of this season too is, we put those out, right before the stay-at-home mandate started and all that. So a few of the guards I talked to had their stuff ready to go. They're like, I just didn't submit things because I wasn't sure at this point there was going to be a season.
Right.
I think, that's a factor too, is that, again, we were on pace. We were certainly ahead of the game from last year, but we were, on pace with stuff. And, then we got rocked with this.
Yeah, I know.
So, so yeah, as far as, the Cove goes, that is still a big question mark. We'll know more we'll know more in 11 days.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I think in the event, if the Cove doesn't open, that's a little over. I want to say the budget was either $33,000 or $35,000 that we now can reabsorb to utilize elsewhere in the camp, and that isn't a bad thing because obviously right now we're dealing with postponement of events, cancellation of events. We're tracking anything COVID related, so that hopefully in the future when there's some relief packages, we're obviously going to be able to track what events were affected and all that. Because even if we're able to reschedule all these events for next season, we're still out money because those events didn't happen now, they're happening in the future. And so we're
right. Well, we're in the same boat as every other person in the country, actually. So, we're just going to have to do what we can and not expect the town to really give us anything right now. And fully, we should expect anything that we did get may be rescinded, I think, even though I know you might say it's against the law or whatever, but these are strange times, and I don't want to count on anything that could or couldn't happen at this point, because you don't know if they're going to change the rules or whatever. And we do have a shortfall in the budget for the overall budget with the schools and everything else. So, so that being said, when we can open the Cove, I think we need to market heavily some things that we can do, and maybe mark out some trails too, because I've been walking all over the camp as of late, and going down into Smitty's Bog and over to the sleeper property and going in and out of the cabins. And, you know, every time I go up there, there's people, and the 4-wheel drivers are tearing up the place. And I've, you know, actually had to tell one of them to get out, but you know, as soon as I leave, they're going to go back.
Where were they, in the field down in the back, or?
They were looking to go there. Yes, they were, but that's where I was.
Yeah.
So,
Because we've already had damage to that. We, somebody tore that up, I think, right before the winter.
Yeah, and you can still see it. It looks better, but it does look better. The grass has grown and everything, but you can still see where the damage was. And it doesn't matter how many dead trees we leave in the way.
They still find a way around.
They find a way around it. So they're coming in from Smitty's Bog, and they're going up through the south end and then over to that kickball field, or that open space, or whatever we're calling it. And I know that people have put barriers between trees that go up to the path by the Frontier cabin. They've put like 2x4s and such.
Yeah, I did that.
But if you only put one, they're just going to go underneath it. So unless we put them all the way down the trees, you know.
Well, that was more of like the trucks, I don't think, can get under that.
Right, the trucks can't.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
but the ATVs can.
Yeah.
So,
well, the ATVs, even if we block, I mean, those you can literally just drive right through the woods around a tree. I mean,
right.
The ATVs are almost impossible to keep out. Right.
There's no stopping it, especially this now when it's really the only thing they can do. So we're coming across it everywhere. But I think the markings for the Wi-Fi are out there now, right? Like the little flags, the chalk markings, and all of that are up there. So maybe we're on our way to hopefully getting cameras, and we can, you know, try to do something when we know how everybody's operating over there.
Yeah, I mean, I would at some point like to, you know, update our camera system, add some cameras to the current system. But again, yeah, it's going to come down to what our capabilities are going to be, you know, with the fiber and all that. But yeah, that's definitely something that certainly needs an update.
Well, hiking activities and protocols is one of the topics under new business. But programming came before. But if you want to continue talking about the hiking activities, we could work it so that we might be able to work something on that. I had something in here. I can't find it now. No, there's a lady, you wrote it, I think, Diane, about that Lee Gamache that from the town hall that has the map of the different paths that are there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I will ask her. I'm going to see her today. So I'm going to ask. I think it would be nice to post some maps on our website, and maybe even which parts are the Bay Circuit Trail, which goes through Smitty's Bog and even up into the border of the sleeper property,
right?
Which the town is trying to acquire. So if they
already taken care of, that's part of town now,
right? I just don't like to say things are a done deal until everything's been signed. So,
as far as I know, it's been signed and they agreed on a price and everything else. That's already gone. There was when the COVID first started back in March or something like that. But also I had, concerning that same thing, Matt Dyer, they took a photo, they had a walkthrough for Green Hanson.
Right.
There's a video about that, which would be nice to post on our website, because they took it right from the camp all the way down by the fishing trail.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it is, I saw it at the beginning and I don't know where it is now. And I did speak to Matt about it before, and he was supposed to look into it and get to it. So he's the one that you need to contact about the video, and then he can give you whatever information is on that. So,
okay,
that
so
would be a
Bill,
project for you, Bill.
so Bill, can you reach out to Matt about that, getting them, and I'll talk to Lee. I'm going to talk to Lee and talk to Chris. You're going to talk to Chris and reach out to Matt about the video, putting
video?
it. Yep.
A
Putting
Green
it on
Hanson video?
Yep.
It's a video that they took when Green Hanson had their walk through there, and Matt is the one that conducted the walk. So, and I know I saw it, I had it on Facebook, but I don't know where to look back for it now, because it was so far back. It's been about a year, because it was when they first did it. So, and they did it from the Smitty's Bogs. They showed all the different areas of that. Then they came up those big stairs, and that's something that if you go down where they do the fishing.
Yeah, the hidden staircase.
Yeah, that staircase there, they went up that staircase, believe it or not. They did go up, and it shows them going up. But if we could do something to make it more presentable or aesthetic, then, and so that we won't have to worry about someone getting hurt, that would be good too. That would be an improvement on our part, and that would be something.
Are you talking about the stairs that go down to the pond over by the north end?
On the north end, yeah, they come up and bring you up to where the screen house is, and with
I know. I was just down those the other day. I didn't think they were that bad.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think there's really anything we could do right now.
Kind of all moss covered. I mean, I'd be afraid to have them do, but I mean, they have steep stairs. Coming down was bad. I wouldn't suggest going down them, but I did not even know there was a staircase there till I walked that part one day too, looking in there for the different trails. So,
well, I do think it would be nice, and maybe we could use part of this time too to maybe put some historical trivia facts and stuff up on our website about the camp and the maps, and, you know, come take a walk, because the police have said you can walk at the camp.
Right. They can walk at Burridge. There's no reason why they can't walk at the camp. So.
Well, the Burridge is now like blocked off with.
No, it's not blocked off. They're making them park separately, distance away, and not block the pathway, because they were blocking everything. Because I have all cones down here on Elm Street at that entrance to Burridge.
Yeah, I was just down there the other day too. Yeah, I've literally walked everywhere in this town these last few weeks.
So seems across, although they say some people are walking across the street to it now, Wazowski's.
Yeah, I was over there too, along the power lines.
Yeah, well, that's my land that butts that.
Well, I walk with Lee, and since Lee knows every square foot of this town, she takes me everywhere. But so anyway, I do think we should use this opportunity, Bill, to work on the website a little, like putting up the maps, putting up some, you know, historical facts about the cove, maybe future plans, you know, ask for suggestions, even, you know, as long as they're appropriately worded. And I think we can do that. I think it would make people feel a little bit more close to the property and take a bigger interest in it. So I would like to see some of that happen.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. I've been tinkering a little bit with the website. You know, I put up I don't think it was a Thursday, but I did like a throwback picture of the lodge back when the Campfire Girls owned it. I'm happy to continue to do stuff like that with history and trivia, as well as we could probably just create a new tab, with the hiking information. I did on our Facebook page, and this was, because Juvie had requested the hiking activities, the protocol. She wanted that on the agenda. That's why it's here. And all I can find, I shared a link on Facebook to mass.gov, Governor Baker's new order. Somebody. So I shared that and just told people.
Juvie's trying to talk.
Oh, go ahead, Juvie.
She's muted. I don't know. Juvie, we can't hear you.
She's not muted, but there must be an issue maybe with her internet, because for whatever reason it's not coming through. But I can see that her microphone it should be open. But
I can see her. I can see her on the video. I can't hear her.
Let me text her. Oh boy.
I'm chatting with her on the chat.
I don't know. That's weird.
Oh, there you are.
I'm trying to.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, that's bizarre. Oh, sorry about that. That's bizarre. No.
You're in.
Yeah. Okay. My audio isn't working on my computer, so I have to use this thing. No, just Bill, I wanted to find out because the Boy Scouts, they approved
The fire pit.
for the fire pit. So guys, they have like some social distancing protocol that's approved by I guess Boy Scout International, that they went through the Massachusetts I don't know, like Health and Human Services. So in addition to that, we're going to be they're sending over a very specific like script for how the kids and they're basically a few families of Boy Scouts and Boy Scouts that are going to be showing up. There are 3 sites, and they mentioned them at the meeting, and they're basically going to be doing the project as soon as the town manager approves the protocol. So it's a really very scripted protocol. So Bill, that's going to be sent over to you. They just Mac hasn't written out, he has to put in things like names, how long it's going to take for each person, what their actual task is. That's going to be coming to you in like the next 2 weeks. So
okay, perfect.
So we've got all of the stones. The stones have been delivered. And it sounds like, Bill, what the idea was, so that the little Boy Scouts that are attending, they're like 11-year-olds. We're going to drop it off at one site, and then they're going to be 3 teams. And the boys are going to have to, because it's part of like the activity, they have to take it from the material up to each of the sites, and then everybody has to have a very specific activity. So I don't know if you're going to be there, but I know the Boy Scout Council guys are going to be there.
Yeah, well, I know in talking to John, because he said, obviously the Board of Selectmen approved the project and all that. He said as long as the social distancing protocols are maintained and all that, he's fine with the project moving forward. He said, obviously, he can't come down to the camp to oversee it, but obviously me as the director, I can be the eyes and the ears of the project for the town hall. And I don't know that I have to be there through the whole thing, but just, as long as I'm observing that they're following the protocols that they've laid out, and, they're doing it safely. That's the biggest thing, is that as long as they're, doing it safely and all that, I know John is fine with it.
Yeah, no, we meet with the council guys every Tuesday at 7. There's like 4 or 5 of those guys that are going through. I mean, they're very meticulous, and they had, Mac created like a project thing, and it wasn't as detailed. So it's kind of painstaking, because they want every single detail in there, which is great for us anyway, because we'll be able to follow it. I think if you Bill, honestly, if you wanted us to just Zoom it to you, you can always, like, I think what they're planning to do is do 2 days. So they'll start the groundwork, lay out the fire pit, and then they're going to mix in the mortar the following day. But honestly, it's very, very it's quick, you know, they're going to stop in, they're going to do it around lunchtime, I guess. They're going to videotape everything.
Cool.
For the scout thing, but it's, you know.
Any further info on like the newspaper, the press? I know you had mentioned possibly the press being there. Is that still?
Yep. So I think Boston Globe South was going to cover it because, you know, the scouts, they want to also showcase, because this is through Boston. Boston has all the protocol for COVID-19. They want to showcase their efforts, I guess. So they're curious to see, like, you know, the Boy Scouts doing wonderful things during COVID or whatever. So I think Boston Globe is going to be there. But again, this person's probably, I'm going to say, because I think the camp is open. You guys said it's public. So I think they're just going to stop and take pictures of the work. I don't even think they're going to be there during that time. So
Okay.
My question was, DigSafe has to be contacted as well. Bill, is the camp is open, right? They can just kind of scoot up there and check out.
Yeah, the only thing that's closed are the physical buildings, like the lodge and everything. By all accounts, the camp still, I mean, there's people still, you know, walking around, walking their dogs and all that. Yeah, if they have to come up and just inspect the sites, you know, everything's outside, so they're fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and I think that's what they're going to do before the actual project. Like I said, though, it's going to be emailed to you, Bill, and then you can, like, you know, send it to everybody, the entire plan, soup to nuts, with how they're going to go about putting it in. But it looks like 3 teams. There's going to be no more than 20 people working on the project, and I think they expect it to be done on a weekend, like a Saturday, Sunday situation.
Okay.
Okay, so that was that I know that was the thing that I needed to
Oh, we just lost your mic again. It might be the actual connection. When you moved, it might have come out of the port or something.
Okay.
Don't move, Julie.
We'll move. But that was all I had to say anyway, so that was we're good.
So yeah, as far as protocol, so I put something on Facebook, you know, sharing the mask.gov page with Governor Baker's new face mask order, you know, and pretty much just said, you know, it's getting warmer, it's getting sunnier, it's, you know, great for hiking, and just reminding people, you know, if you're going to be out hiking, maintain the social distance protocols, you know, make sure you have your face mask with you, because again, the trails get tight. So if you come across other hikers, obviously you got to make sure that you're, you know, protecting yourself and them. So,
and that's why I think it would be helpful to have the maps up there as well, so that they know there are other options to go, because sometimes certain areas get bogged down with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've just been cautious too of, you know, choosing my words correctly, so that we're not necessarily encouraging people to go out and walk around, but more so just saying, hey, we know you're probably going to be out, just, you know, follow the guidelines, so we're all being safe.
Right. So if they follow the guidelines and there's a map for them to follow, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Melissa, I know that you're on the thing right now. I tweaked the wedding section, more so just the organization of it. I didn't put up the new information yet, because my only concern is that advertising, we may get a little bit of pushback from the people that we have to reschedule. You know, where, you know, now if they're only doing a reception, you know, it's less money. I think the workaround for that is that Melissa, will you scroll down a little bit more on the weddings thing?
Yep.
I'm just trying to, yeah, I will, these upcoming events, I'll take those out and I'll just put oh God, so my changes apparently did not make it to the website. So I guess it doesn't even matter. I had cleaned all that up and changed it a little bit, but it didn't save, so I'll have to go back in. But my question, do you think it's okay for us putting in the new information, even though, do you think we'll get much backlash from current clientele that may obviously have to reschedule to 2021?
No.
Or do we just say, you know, these changes occurred, March 24th, they took effect by Board of Selectmen. Anything scheduled before that falls under the old rates. Is that?
I don't know. Yeah, you might get backlash.
Yeah, so
We
that's
did
why
say-
I'm nervous about posting the new stuff, just because, again, that's a quick way to get bad press.
Yeah, I'm
We
not
didn't-
sure that,
Wait a minute, we didn't change any prices. All we did was add that section about special pricing from December to April. So that would
No,
have
we
nothing.
also changed ceremony and if they do reception only, it's $500 less.
right, we changed that.
But
Yeah.
that's something new that was never offered before. So that is
Right,
all
no.
you put. But if you
Right,
put
so
it, it doesn't matter.
so he's
You
what-
had put new next to putting that in about the $500, that section there, put new. If you put it in red in new, you're covered. Because it has
No, I
nothing to do with
understand
anything
that
else.
we're covered.
How many weddings do
understand
you
that.
have that are
My issue
reception
is,
now? Huh?
my issue, I know that we're covered because, even on the form, it says, dates as of voted on the Board of Selectmen. I know that
Right.
we're covered. My issue is that, again, is it worth right now posting it to deal with backlash
Yes, it is.
amidst all of this? I think it's better to get through rescheduling if we need to, and then maybe update the page with the new information, because otherwise
How
we
many
could
of those?
be,
But my question is, how many of those were going to be just receptions only? Most of them have the
honestly,
wedding and everything there all together. I think that you're going to lose business by not posting.
All right, hold on. So please, okay. So Joan thinks we should post it, excuse me. Joan
ahead.
thinks we should post it now. Bill, you think we should wait. Okay, so what I think might be a good idea to do is let's answer Joan's question. How many of the events that would be affected by it that are now canceled, how many of those events would have been affected by this price
I
change?
honestly have no idea, because we'll
Okay,
have to go
so-
through each application. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we'll go through that first. And then what we can do is possibly put something on the site that says new wedding rates are coming, or new pricing coming in whatever, and give people time to digest that and post it at a certain other date. I don't know, does that seem reasonable to anybody, or does that seem like bad business practice? And I will defer to the wedding and internet people. So you go
Well,
ahead.
John, what do you think?
Well, I would say I would wait till the ball gets rolling again, rather than take the chance of people seeing it and getting mad and, all that stuff. Because it's a weird situation where all these weddings now that have been booked are going to 2021. So they're at the old prices, and, there's not going to be a lot in there for people to go to the new prices. There won't be a lot of dates for them. So,
Right.
you can do it. Someone calls, but Dory can mention it over the phone to them if you got a new client coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
for the new inquiries,
what do you
the
think,
new
Melissa?
inquiries that, sorry. We
rather
send in the rates. Sorry.
you can send the rates if you want to send them the rates. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, if we just do it on the personal level, at least then it's not just open to,
Right.
the public scrutiny at the moment.
I
think that's.
I do think given this current situation that we're in and how it has affected so many people in mostly negative ways, that, if they booked a wedding already for next, whatever it is, November, or whenever we drop the rates or whatever, maybe we could offer that anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that would go a long way toward good press on our part. But it's just a thought. And again, I'm not a business person, but I just think that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to say, okay, as of January 1 or whatever you guys think is a good date fiscally, these are our new rates for 2021. Those of you who have booked in 2020, you know, from May to December, if the new rates go in your favor, we will give you that new rate.
Okay.
And to anybody that was supposed to have it, you know?
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So
You could do that now.
Right, we could do that now.
yeah, and so
And
here's
that would be the best way to do it.
I think if we do it in such a way that we are looking like we're trying to work with the public here, which we are, and you know, we're sympathetic to everybody's financial situation given this COVID-19, that I think that would go a long way. It shows people that we're humans here and we're personal and we will work with you.
Yeah, and I think
we're not
appreciated that.
Yeah, and we're not a big corporation, and that's one of the reasons people have their wedding there, because there are people like Dory and people like Bill, and you know, so I think we should play on that. I think if we're doing it in a generous way that we say we're going to honor it if it's in your favor, then let's just do that, because you know what, the budget's already taking a hit anyway. And if we're going to get a few more $100 as taking a hit, I don't think it's going to make that much difference right now, because everybody in the world is in the same boat.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you might get more weddings in the off season, even at the reduced rates, by offering this now. So
exactly.
I mean, in other words, instead of having to put it off until next year, a year away, they might be willing to put it like the 6 away. Oh.
Right. It might be the little push they need to say, hey, instead of waiting a whole year, we could really save some money and have it in February.
Right. And I mean, they haven't. So I mean, all you'd have to do is rewrite the contract. Isn't that? I mean, I'm sure that you're gonna have to rewrite it anyway for the year away one. So you might as well, if you can do it sooner than that and get more money coming into the camp, then that's better. You know, better off we are.
Okay, so let's move in with that then. And what's next on the agenda?
Well, do we have to motion anything for that or no?
No, because it's already been approved.
No, but here's a situation that you know, I may need a motion to vote. So we have an August wedding. Right now they're inquiring. They said you know, they still want to try to have it if they're able to. They said more than likely they're going to reduce the amount of guests and possibly just kind of do, you know, a ceremony and not have a reception. They have already, they put down their 50% deposit. What they're looking to see is that if they go with just that and just do the ceremony only, would we give them dispensation, you know, since we already have half their money, not ask them for the remainder of the deposit and just let them do the ceremony?
Hey guys, I gotta run. My son's not feeling well, so I gotta go take care of him.
All right, bye, John.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Okay, so my feeling on that would be yes, because they're not, if they're, first of all, do we have a protocol in these new rates for somebody that just wants to have the ceremony at the camp? Is there a charge for that?
No pricing for it.
So we need to take that. So jot that down, Bill. We need to add that to the list. It could be
go to a new vote then.
It could be just the use of the library and the porch for, you know, for a certain amount of time. Rent it for whatever, the $400 or whatever it is.
I think if we.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to pick off of her 4 hours. I mean, it's usually 4 hours, so $400 for 4 hours. It would at least be, you know, be better off than getting no money and having to cancel it altogether, which is probably what would happen at the rate we're going, because she's not going to have, they wouldn't be allowed the large reception. So by just having a wedding, at least you're getting something. You know,
However, in order to do that, I do not want somebody booking a reception when a typical wedding takes place. So we should have different hours that if you're only going to have a ceremony, you can only have it between these and these hours.
Right. And again, I think we need, if it's ceremony only, I think we still need to up the price. Because if we do it for $400 right now, we technically be losing $100 because the way the new rates are slated.
Right. If they don't have the ceremony. Right. So we can have the $500 be the standard for the ceremony, because they are going to need caretakers to come in and to do the windows and to, clean up anything if they're throwing flower petals or whatever, and to set up chairs in the library. And that is where the ceremony would take place, pretty much, is in the library. If they want the ceremony to take place in the entire, hall, then that's a different story. I think we just need to offer the ceremony alone in the library with a setup of chairs and the windows open, and have it be for $500 and have it be during hours that are very strictly set.
Yeah. I think we should, if they're going ceremony only, I think we should still hit them for $1,000.
I think 1,000 is too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point of view, but especially where we're only taking 500 off.
Yeah. Because the incentive is we want them to have ceremony and reception here. So it's like, if we just,
I'm going to ask others. Do we still have a quorum here?
No, John left. So, wait, yeah, we do, because Juvie's here.
Because Juvie came in.
Okay. Yep. So my question remains. Well, I would like to hear everybody else's thoughts on this.
I was looking for the paperwork, because I know we did approve new rates and do different things, and so that's why I was looking for that paper. Okay, wedding rate.
But we didn't approve just a ceremony.
No, that wasn't part of it.
Reception, we did reception only, and
right, but not just ceremony. So I would like to hear everybody's thoughts on this, because I really don't think a remote meeting should go as long as our typical meetings in person. This is silly.
No, and we technically only have 7 minutes remaining anyway, because this goes to 2:30.
Okay, so let's go.
Okay, you have ceremony and reception is $3,500. So reception only is $2,500. So that would mean that the ceremony would actually be $1,000 if you go by what we originally did for the wedding rates.
Didn't we just approve a $500 differential?
We did, yeah. It's $3,500 or $3,000 for reception only.
Okay, so let's go with the newest thing.
Reception only is $2,500.
No.
That's what I have on this.
I'm sorry. It's $3,500 and $3,000. And then Saturdays are either $5,000 or $4,500.
Right. So there's a differential of $500.
Right.
So can we please decide for a reception only to be held in the library with chairs and windows down and staff on, an amount of time? A ceremony should only take tops an hour and a half to 2 hours. We could give them 2 hours because the bride has to get dressed, and then they have the ceremony, and then people file out. So if they want to do a 2-hour block of time that does not run into the typical wedding times, and Bill and Dory, you would have to tell us when the typical wedding hours are.
Mm-hmm.
And do we want to charge them $500 or $1,000 for a ceremony alone?
But go in the middle and do $750.
I don't want to say, I want there to be a definitive reason behind it. I want you to back up your thinking.
Well, you're saying the difference, if you go by ceremony and reception, the difference would be $1,000. But you're giving them the benefit of the doubt by going to $750. At least you don't cut the ceremony part out.
Okay.
Give them $750.
Or you just,
So let's,
Or you
but
just-
let's get this straight. The new rates, the differential is 500. Are we in agreement with this? Because that is what we approved.
You approved ceremony and reception for $3,000, right, Bill?
No, ceremony and reception is 3,500.
Okay, well, that's what I said originally, but then you said 3,000.
No,
Okay,
you
so-
said 25. Okay. All right.
No, reception only was 25.
No.
1,000.
I'm sorry,
No,
how much?
when the commission voted it, I had proposed that initially. John thought it was too much. The commission only voted a $500 difference, and so that's where,
Okay, so it's 3,000 for reception only?
yes, for
Yes.
Friday and Sunday.
For Friday and Sunday, and reception only on Saturday is 4,500, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
done. Now,
Okay.
do we want to charge for a ceremony alone 500, 750, or 1,000? Joan says 750. Melissa, what is your opinion?
I think $1,000, 500 an hour.
Okay, and Juvie?
I agree with Melissa.
Okay.
Oh, can you hear me? Shoot.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Can
Bill?
can I throw something out there real quick? Just,
Yes,
I guess,
please.
especially, where we're looking to say you can only have it during a certain time. With our weddings, they get 4 hours ahead of the actual wedding for setup. So that means a lot of times, whether it's a Friday, Saturday, we have brides in here by sometimes either 11 a.m. or noontime to start getting ready for their 4 o'clock wedding. So we would literally have to tell somebody that their ceremony has to happen at like 9
10 in
a.m.
the morning, 9
Yeah.
or 10 in the morning. That's what I mean. And I think $1,000 for that is a lot of money.
Yeah, but I also think, to try to just give it's such a small window. Like I don't know if I don't think we're gonna lose that much business if we just kind of either say you do ceremony and reception or reception only, because it's.
So what do you think? What do you want for the price?
I honestly I don't think we should offer a ceremony only because I think it's going to conflict too much with somebody that's looking to have the whole get up. That, or we have to find a completely different place on the property that we could let them do their ceremony and not affect anything by the lodge.
Okay, so there we have it. That is a consideration if weddings are taking place and people are in there by 11 or noontime for a 4 o'clock wedding, then there really isn't opportunity for a ceremony only. So in this one instance, because of the COVID-19 situation, can we agree to not charge these people for the rest of their money should they only have a ceremony?
Yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
Can somebody
agree.
say so moved and then vote it, please, and then I'll
Okay.
get back to.
Say that again, Diane, I'm sorry. I didn't catch
Okay,
it all.
I need someone to make a motion to return.
I make a motion.
You make a
I
motion?
understand, but what's the motion?
Okay, please let me say it. Someone needs to make a motion to not require the rest of the balance on an entire wedding so that, because due to the COVID-19 situation, the people having the wedding have chosen to only do a ceremony in preparation for still restrictive measures on gatherings of people. So that being said, they are asking us to please not require the rest of a payment for a full wedding.
I make a motion to not require the rest of the payment for the full wedding for current weddings booked at this time due to the COVID-19 restrictions.
Okay, if they are willing to have a ceremony only.
If they are willing to have a ceremony only.
Okay. All those in favor?
Second. Second.
There's no monies involved. You're not mentioning anything about what it's gonna cost.
It's not going
They
to
have
cost
also-
anything. We're just not taking their secondary deposit. They've already put down
Their
50%.
deposit. Yeah.
The motion is to not require the next 50% and allow them to just do the ceremonies should they so choose.
We already have 50% of a full wedding. They're not going to have the wedding. They're only going to have the ceremony. The motion was made and seconded to allow us to not require the rest of the payment on a full wedding package.
So in other words, like if say 50% of the 3,500, whatever you've received on that, if they're only doing the ceremony, you get no more money than that 50%.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that was the understanding.
Yep. So are you voting with it?
Yeah, at least it's money.
Right.
That was,
Okay. So that is a vote, then a unanimous vote of all those that are here.
that would be
Beautiful.
17.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else?
At least that way there, it won't be.
Okay.
I mean, you're limited to the number of people that they're going to have. That's about it.
They have to adhere to the state guidelines, whatever those will be at the time. So, okay, okay, so can I just wrap up here? So I'm going to call Chris and I'm going to get in touch with Lee. You're going to call Chris in regards to the rest of the invoices that you need to submit the grant for the state.
Yep.
And you're going to look at getting the video and trail maps and fun facts about the camp onto the website to encourage people who do hike here to explore some of the other places at the camp.
Yep.
And the Google Calendar, the wedding and everything will all be updated because you have to go back and make sure that your changes were saved, right, Bill?
Yeah, I gotta
And-
look at that now.
Okay, so the last thing we needed to do was programming, and we have to wait on the Cove, obviously. But can we think about some kind of programming to implement in the fall? Because
I'll start looking at that. What I was at least going to talk about with the programming, because I've been corresponding with Sherry Gernon, who's the rec director for Mansfield, just to find out what it is they're doing right now. I have correspondence out. I'm waiting to hear back from a group called Kids Out and About that she works with, and they've got online resources and programs and stuff that they're offering. So I am exploring that to see if there's a way we can work with them to do something like that in the event that we're not allowed to have, physical program. I mean, and I'll certainly continue to work on, what we possibly will be able to do for the fall. But if this is going to be a new norm for a while, if we're at least able to put some stuff out into the community that kids can do from the safety of computers, it's, I guess, better than nothing at all.
okay, okay, yeah, because in the fall, if schools don't go back, like people are, having to work at home regardless, and there's no daycare open yet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need some activities.
Yeah. And we'll do whatever activities we're able to, for the governor and,
Well, can
obviously
I,
group size will be limited. What's that?
yeah, so Bill, we had that bunny breakfast that we were supposed to have, and then we did postpone the dance, so that obviously we can't hold. But I was hoping to do once the governor comes out with the phase 1 stuff, I was hoping to do like a hiking thing there and do a barbecue outside where families go through that same hike that Green Hanson outlined at the camp.
That's a great idea, an outdoor barbecue.
Yeah, but that's only because we sold something like, I think we had like 71 families that wanted to attend the bunny breakfast. And, in the hopes that we didn't have to return all of those funds, we were going to try to do like a barbecue hike. So they get a lunch bag, and then they go through, you know, yes, and then the kids get to, like, it's like like geocaching. You go to a spot, you pick up a gold coin, and then they just return it for like a little treat, just something to get families out. But we didn't want to do that until, like Bill was, it was saying that they're going to wait for a directive from the governor. And from what I'm hearing, if we are going into phase 1, we can have we're going to have a little more freedom with that, so that was something that,
group size will probably still be restricted and whatnot. So we'll just have to see what guidelines were given, and then,
but in the meantime, we should be planning on that. How many people will we need to set it up? The time intervals for getting people out, how many prizes we would need, what the prizes should be, how we're going to reach out to people.
No, that's something that I'm sorry. That's something that I have to do for the Children's Museum. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to, but we can definitely copy it.
That's a juvie activity, I think.
Yeah, we can copy it for the camp, whatever. Like I'm open to sharing what we do. I just need to make sure that the people that, that bought tickets to this bunny breakfast, they get their money back somehow, or they get some kind of a benefit, because right now I'm holding on to that money, and our families have been great, but I want to be able to be like, okay, we didn't have the bunny breakfast, but will you join us in this fun thing? And so that, but you know what, if this thing works out, Bill, and everyone else, if this works out, I'll hand you the plan that we have, because this is all just hypothetical. We hope families will check in. It's staggered timing. People check in at different times, and then they get like a little map. They follow the little hike. And because these are little kids, the hike is tops 2 miles. And it's just really a chance to get families out. And if that works, I'll give it, we can definitely do another one for the camp, or for another organization, or whatever the heck works. But I just kind of figured, I would be doing the thing for the Children's Museum, but in addition to that, we could get families on the campground,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the 4th of July is canceled, so maybe we could do something like that in July.
Yeah, I'm hoping, Bill, as soon as you give me the green light, I'm hoping like by the 18th, we'll have kind of a better idea, and then maybe we could do it, the end of the month in May, because kids aren't going back to school. These kids are gonna be stuck at home or looking for something to do. So
we need to, that's my point, Juvie, is we need to be ready with something. So we've had all this time to sort of, not twiddle our thumbs, obviously, but, to be thinking ahead and not just saying, oh, well, we can't do anything. So we should be planning for, okay, if they open up with this kind of restriction, we can plan this. And if they do that, we can plan that. So this should all be ready to go should restrictions ease up.
Well, can I ask, can I just send Bill what I have for our hike, our family hike and barbecue? And then
certainly.
And then you guys can look it over. And then if you have any other ideas to add in there, but mine was very basic. It was, the company that was going to do the breakfast for me was just going to throw together like little sandwiches for families. And then, they could get the bag, they go do their hike and find a spot somewhere, to eat their snacks. It's not a big to do, but I'll share that with you guys. And then, we can have something, and then if the benefit of having the Children's Museum do it is, at least I can tell you, oh, you definitely need XYZ volunteers. Because right now my volunteers are like 6. I have 6 parents that are willing to help with their kids. So, and I don't really know, to be honest with you, what the response is going to be. I don't know. Parents are freaked out, they're not, I have 71 families.
How many parents do you have that signed up to have their kids go? The parents should be with the kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But they're not gonna. they're definitely coming with the kids, but Joan, a lot of these parents don't want to leave their house. I mean, we have 71 families signed up, but I can tell you over half of them are really nervous. I think I've had to return 20%. So let me see. I think we now have 50 something families, because I had to return some of the monies for the bunny breakfast, which isn't a big deal, but a lot of parents aren't comfortable at all.
Yeah, and I think,
It's being
again, even
ridiculous.
as they ease restrictions, there's going to be, again, a lot of people nervous about coming out. The virus isn't going away even if restrictions are lifted. So we have to be very cognizant, again, of, crowd size and activities and.
Right,
But Bill,
but at least, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, but I mean, maybe we think out of the box and maybe we try to do something virtually.
That's what I
sponsored
was
by
saying with that
California.
kids out and about. That's what I'm looking at to see what kind of virtual programming they're doing, so that if we can piggyback off that, at least we're still able to offer something, but it's, safe and, not putting us at risk or anybody else.
Yeah. Yep.
I know.
The other thing is, nobody wants to be the guinea pig of all this opening back up, and then, all of a sudden, we become the new hotbed for, a spike in cases. And not saying that that's going to happen, but it's a possibility, and nobody wants to be that guinea pig.
No, and and I think, and I'll tell you guys, we sent out the notice, and I think we've had 3 families respond positively, like as in, yeah, we'll do it. And then we haven't heard, I think I just sent out the email, but we've only had 3 families say they're definitely on board, they're interested. That's not really that successful. 3 out of the 71, that we had for the bunny breakfast, that's, not as successful, but
They're probably waiting to see what the governor has to say. But he's opening up. He's supposed to be opening up some things on the 18th, so we'll know more then. I do know that the town canceled the May 30th parade, and that's going to be done virtual with just a group and with some Boy Scouts at they're doing 2 things, but it was posted today on Facebook, and I would imagine it's on some other sites too. But they're going to have a ceremony at the cemetery, and Eric from is going to be there to take the pictures of it, the video of it, and it'll be done that way. So it'll be virtual. Nobody will be able to be there at the cemetery other than the necessary people that for the virtual part of it, and that's it. But they've already canceled the one for May 30th, and then they might look into something more later on once things loosen up. But as far as, so they're not looking to have anything for May 30th either here in the town. So I think having the hike at the camp might be too soon for May 30th too. But,
yeah.
Well, and again, once we see
more for July. And then by that time, maybe the cove will be open too, and then people can go down. And I'd give them their food at the end of the walk, and then they can probably take a blanket, go down and sit down on the beach, and keep their distancing down there too, as well as at the different picnic tables that we can set up different places around the camp. But I would look for doing it more towards the 4th of July rather than May 30th. If you want to do the barbecue and that part there.
I mean, a lot's going to hinge on, what gets said on the 18th.
Right.
But just so we can wrap up, any, last comments, just because we did run over a little bit, so we should look to start wrapping.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything else to add?
No. I'll send you some notes, Bill, of what I need for finalities on some things. Because there's that list that you got back in February that you were supposed to do, and I know you've covered a couple of them here. I just wanted to see where you stood on it.
Are you talking about my corrective action plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, most of it hinged on physical activities of people being together, and obviously much of that isn't going to happen.
Right, I know before you can't do anything with. You might be able to, in the future, number 5, you might be able to work on, like, have some ideas for it. But that's about it. But number 1 should have already been resolved. And you've already took care of mentioning number 2. So I took notes down in here. So it was just, maybe just one thing, and it was just ideas on, it just, you know, where you stand on some of these things. And we should have weekly updates of what you've done so that we know we don't have to have a meeting for everything that you do, but you should at least keep us up to date on what you've accomplished for the week.
Yeah, well, and I don't think, if nothing major gets done, I don't think it's a necessity that I send you an email. If I've sent you updates as, you know, things have been done with kitchen, all that. And again, we're over time, so I'm not going to get too far into this, but
Okay,
as need be, I will send you guys emails when I have updated information. And if it ends up, and I guess I'll say this, if it's going to stop the slew of emails, then okay, I'll send something out once a week.
Well, I'm just saying once a week would be fine to let us know what's been accomplished for the week.
Yeah.
For the
Well,
week.
again, I mean.
Okay, so please listen. Please listen. Yeah. Okay, so in order to end this meeting, I think a good compromise is let's stop all the emails, and Bill, once a week, whichever day of the week you choose. I think maybe a Friday would be good. Just say what went on through the week, your contacts, and if there's nothing new to report on a topic, just list the topics, nothing new to report, or list the topic and say what's been done toward it. That's
all
it. Short and sweet. Doesn't even need to have an introduction or a closing. Just put it out there. Okay?
Beautiful.
That's what we're asking for is updates once a week.
Okay, so that's what it's gonna be titled, is weekly update. That's it.
Yeah. And it's gonna
get
pushed back every week that somebody sends me an email.
Yes, it's going. No, I have not sent you very many emails at all.
No, honestly, but I would appreciate, because again, the protocol is supposed to be they reach out to you and then you and I work it out, and it's just been sometimes. Again, I know Mary addressed it months ago, and it just kind of gone out the window.
It isn't just you to work out with her; it's for you to work out with the whole commission.
She is the chairperson.
Okay, we're not going to have this argument virtually. Now, let me just ask one more thing. Republic, can we be assured that we will not have a contract with them come June 1 or July 1?
So it's July 17th, I believe, that it's up, or somewhere in that effect. I am drafting the letter tomorrow. I have to send it certified and with a blood sample and everything. Not really with a blood sample, but I am getting ready to send them the letter with a copy of the contract saying that we are putting it out to bid. We are not renewing their contract. So
okay. Are the dumpsters empty?
Relatively, yeah. I mean, we haven't been using them, so there is stuff in there. People, have stopped by. There's definitely a little bit of trash in there, but nothing.
Okay, we are not being billed then for pickups, are we?
I have to look again. I have sent them several emails and told them that nobody's here, so we need to suspend pickup. But again, it's Republic, so. Then
again, as long as we have a record of it, a record of all the emails and a record of their lack of response or their response, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as the communication has been attempted, it's on them, and we will argue that point later. But okay, so some of the things now, just to wrap up, definitely Republic will be on that list. The salvage metal, the rest of it, talking to Chris about the mixer and the stove contract for the Blodgett stoves, and then future programming and any monies we have to return to people is definitely going to be on an update. And anything else that you can put on there, that would be great. Okay. Okay. Does that sound appropriate to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. I'm going to make a motion. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, everybody. Thank
All right.
you. Bill,
Okay.
Dory, everybody have a great day.
Bill,
Thank you.
can you just hang out 1 second? And Dory, can I just ask you a question about a video after everybody leaves?
Yep.
Do you
Sure.
want to comment just because we shouldn't be in the format for a
Oh, okay.
rec meeting when
Okay, so let me get out of this so that
Okay.
everybody can go on. But I definitely want included in the update, definitely the trees and all that jazz. And
Okay.
if we
Oh, yeah.
need, and if we need caretakers to come in, schedule them. They can work by themselves to start cleaning things up and raking and getting the place looking better.
I'm only going to do that if John says I can. Right now, we've been declared non-essential, and I'm following John's orders.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
All right.
Oh my
Thanks, everyone.
God. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.